are here. All 2017s have to go. Every brand we carry, every Chevrolet, GMC, Buick, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram truck has been marked down. 0% financing for 72 months or up to $10,000 off some models. Come by Trice Hughes or call 270-365-5522. You can also shop at tricehughes.com. Why haven't you given Trice a try? It's easy. Call today, 270-365-5522, or stop by for a great deal today. Give Trice a try.
And good morning and welcome to Tiger Sports Talk with Gator and DT. We're live here in studio at WPKY 103.3 FM, The Tiger. Got my sidekick back with me this week, Ty.
You did.
He been kicking me in the side, too.
Well, we missed you.
Oh, I know y'all were tore up.
We were struggling there.
Yeah,
for a minute,
I was in David. I couldn't help it. I was in David Barnes' home territory, sealing driveways. Matter of fact, it's
making money.
One of them kin to you, wasn't it? That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah, we were.
You went to your second job.
I wasn't really making money, but I wasn't losing any.
Well, we really did miss you last
I
week.
appreciate
You'd have
that.
had a blast in here.
Oh, Lord.
We had Coach Kenny Barrett and Mark Barnes along with David in studio.
It was a good show.
And we had a good time last
Thanks,
week.
Ty. That's good.
Appreciate
it.
We had the storyteller, Coach Barrett. I tell you,
he's ready.
Oh, what a blast! And it was a great night last Friday night of football out here at Tiger Stadium. We inducted 8 new members into the Hall of Fame, and all of them but one showed up. And of course, we knew Andy Davis wasn't going to be there. He was on fall break in Florida.
Can't believe he didn't come back for that.
But he had his stand-in. Mr. Sigler.
Oh, yes.
Stood in for him there. And, of course, everybody up in the stands probably thought it was Andy. He'd lost a bunch of weight. But it was a good night. And
I did a double take when he walked out.
Brandon Sigler stood in for him, and we appreciate that. But it was good to see all of the people there. And the crowd was a little bit down, but, with it being fall break, but it's still a pretty good turnout and just a great night.
Well, from our side, you sit in the stands. We don't. We were on the field. It really wasn't bad. It was a pretty good crowd. I mean, seriously, for that time of year.
There was a lot of empty seats around me up in the,
Well, what happened was
reserve
where
section.
you sit, a lot of the important people didn't show up.
Yeah, no, I believe most. We stayed through the half anyway. Coach Barnes, I know, had a big night for him. Got his 100th victory, and congratulations to you, Coach. And couldn't happen to a better person. And I know how the Tigers played last Friday. They put them away early. They went out and took care of business like you wanted them to, and secured that home field advantage throughout the playoff. Of course, I think it was wrapped up prior to the game, but still, we got
4-0 and 3-1.
You'd rather be 4-0 and 3-1. We don't have to leave the confines of Tiger Stadium, the rest of the season until December.
That's right.
And that's the state finals in Lexington.
Yeah.
Speaking of the inductees, I got to meet. I was at least at the game, got to see them, and I got to talk to Arch and Stan and Kelly and all of them, and when I moved down a little bit more, there was old Stump over there too, Rogers. He was there holding the chains.
Ken Rogers.
I got to talk to him, and we talked about Chick Walker and old times and football, and I told him what Chick had always said about him, and of course he was very appreciative. He was excited just to see everybody as well. I think he was happy to see Arch too.
Yeah. And
y'all are all cousins, aren't you?
Yeah, we're all cousins.
Yeah, they're kin to everybody down there.
big turnout from Fredonia on Friday night. They were all there to see the Coach Barnes get his 100th win, as well as see Mark inducted into the Hall of Fame. Just a great night. A lot going on this week. We don't have a high school football game tonight in Caldwell County. There's a few around the area of it.
got junior pro out there.
Yeah, we do have junior
They're gonna
pro
play under
tonight.
lights tonight.
6 o'clock. I know 3rd and 4th grade, and I guess
It'd be
it's
big group for those kids.
Who we playing?
It's Caldwell White and Caldwell Gold.
Yeah.
At 6 o'clock.
Oh, really?
Under
both
the
Caldwell teams
Oh,
are
okay.
playing against
Yeah.
one another, and
good deal.
So,
we want to encourage the people to come out to it.
There's
and-
Friday night football out at Tiger Stadium tonight.
Is it streamed?
Put me on the spot here.
No, I didn't. I was
No,
just
no.
asking.
But yeah, we want everybody to go out, because if you're not having your football, if you're having withdrawals, you can go out there and watch some good football tonight.
That's right. And, I guess most of the district competition winds up tonight throughout the, entire state. I noticed there's a few games that are still up for grabs, positions. And, I was looking, we were talking a little bit last week, David, about some of the areas that are having to play out of region schools.
Yeah.
We're fortunate that we don't. We still play District 2, District 1, District 2. And I believe 2 is it 4A is
Right.
is the one that has District 1 against District 3, and 2 and 4, I believe
That's right.
is how it works. So we stay intact, and it looks like we're going to play the winner of Adair County
And Hart.
and Hart County,
Yeah.
which is being played tonight. So I think Adair is a slight favorite going into that game, aren't they?
Thank you. I talked to Josh Jaggers, and that's who Josh Jaggers said would win that game.
Okay.
And he's at LaRue, right?
And he's at LaRue.
He's at LaRue, and he's going to wind up second.
Well, he plays Edmondson tonight, and the winner of that one will be number 2.
Okay.
Which I think should be probably LaRue County.
Okay. And after we go our first round against the number 4, then we'll play the winner of the 2 seed and the 3 seed out of our district and the 2 seed out of
Which
their
will be
district.
Union County playing either LaRue or Edmondson County.
Okay. We don't want to look too far down the road. We got to take care of business first, and we've got a big game next Friday night against Mayfield here to end up our regular season, and it's always a interesting game. It has been the last several years. I believe the last 2 years ago when we played here went down to the final moments of the game.
Yeah, it went to the final whistle.
Went to the final whistle. It
According
was
to the referees, anyway.
yeah.
Well, the outcome here, if we continue like we are, hopefully we'll keep going. And old Bruce is going to be going to work, isn't he?
That's right.
He's gonna be lining some fields here.
That's right.
Probably be cool too. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Gator and I used to do all that. We'd have to line those things at night. It would be
We
chilly
had- under the
Of
lights.
course, we weren't probably as lucky as these guys. We didn't do it too late in the season all the time. We ended up having to play Mayfield to beat, and then most of the time. But anyway, we had some good times down there doing that stuff.
And
Were good old days.
they were. And, of course, the time is about to change.
Yeah.
I don't know, is it the 1st of November?
1st of November.
1st of November. We're going to fall back an hour. So, of course, it's getting dark pretty early right now. You know, last night I looked out, it was a little after 6 o'clock.
exactly right.
And it, starting to be darkness. Well, we've got with us here live in the studio Coach Eric Jacobs, the head coach of the Lady Tigers soccer team, and just a phenomenal season you had this year. And congratulations. I know you had a hard-fought loss last night in the finals of the region against Henderson County, and welcome to our show.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on. It's nice to be here.
Well, it's good hearing you during basketball season. We
right.
get to listen to you.
He's coming back.
He's coming back
That's
for
right.
another
It's
bad.
a-
One season ends and another one begins.
That's right.
Here
Just a
before
man of
long.
many talents. That's what it is.
Well,
Good thing about it is if you work hard at the basketball job, when they fire you from soccer, you've got to know.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, it's job security. And the good thing is I've got a good face for radio. So
There
it
you
works
go.
out well.
There you go.
Well,
I don't believe that's going to happen while you're coaching these kids. Go ahead, Coach.
Well, I heard. I guess earlier in the week they were looking for an announcer.
He did the boys game at Stadium of
Okay.
Champions the other night too. So
Yeah.
he,
Right.
he and Derek Fuqua. So big shout out to them too. I
Yeah.
really appreciate them stepping up and do that.
Yeah, for sure. It's fun to do that, and just to take your mind off of postseason a little bit. But it's nice, yeah. Whenever one thing ends, I laugh today. There'll be like a week I don't know what to do with the time that I have after, and then it's right back to basketball, the middle school soccer, and then the cycle repeats itself. So,
Well, you do a real good job doing on the radio. I'll tell you what. That's people think you can just sit and watch a game and do that. It's not easy to do. You know, I know I'd be watching the ball and probably never say anything about who had it or whatever. You know, but you do a good job.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Well, Coach, tell us about this run.
Yeah, this is it was an awesome year. I mean, last year we thought we had a lot to build from, and this year we came in as we would say the favorite in the district and ended up taking care of that business, which it's always nice. We've got a tough district. Madisonville is a tough team to compete against, and got that. And in region, we ended up getting a pretty nice draw. Had a real tough game against Hopkinsville. I would say even tougher game against Trigg County, and then came out. And Henderson's a heck of a team, but to finish runner-up in a region with a powerhouse like Henderson in it, and it's just a phenomenal year all around.
Well, you know, Hopkinsville's bigger too. They're all Christian County. Are they involved? They're all big schools. I mean, you know, and we're really, to be honest with you, I think when you look at the numbers, we're really about a 2A. I don't think we're really close. We're closer to 2 than 3.
Yeah, and it's tough a lot of that time whenever you've got a small pool, and then soccer being we're kind of low man on the totem pole at times with numbers, and so but it's been nice. I know this year. Speaking of those big schools, we got a big win against McCracken County, and that's always nice to be able to knock off a 6A whenever which I know soccer's not classed, but looking at it, that was a big win for us, and it was an awesome year. I know we had a lot of good memories made this year, and a real good group of girls. This is something that I don't think most people are fortunate enough whenever they come in as a head coach to get a group as good as I've had, and so I give a lot of credit to them. It's more so they bear with me through the season, and they take care of what they need to. So I'm very, very proud of that group.
Well, I know that you had a lot of experienced players on that team, and you had really great leadership throughout the season. And I think you mentioned you got 8 seniors. Tell us about your 8 seniors.
Oh, yeah, that's a huge senior class, 8 of them, and just a phenomenal group. That group, it trickles down. Whenever you have good leadership, that spreads. And I'm sure you guys know from coaching as well, if you've got good leadership, that makes your job a whole lot easier. And those girls were really good about taking on the younger ones and showing them the way and being supportive throughout the whole season. And they'll definitely be missed next year. That's a group that's a special group that came through. And it's pretty cool. I've only coached them for 2 years, but they were my first group working here that have been freshmen. So that's a real special group to me as a teacher as well, seeing them come through from freshmen all the way to seniors and the way that they've grown and just a really, really special group. And that's one that I'll definitely miss, but very fortunate to have as my first kind of freshman through senior.
Yeah, the other part of that, too, is you talk about leadership, not only on the field, but they see those girls as leaders in the classroom, too.
Oh, definitely.
You know, because they've been there with you 4 years, and you've seen them go through, and now the younger kids have seen them to go through and graduate and whatever. So
that's awesome. Yeah, and they're great in school as well. They're some of those that I know if there's ever anything that needs to be done, that group will step up. It doesn't matter if it's something for prom, a football game, student council, whatever it may be, that group will be there and they'll be taking care of business. They're very involved, and that's something that I love to see and I hope to see more of out of the girls that I have that come through this program, because we really harp that you're an athlete, but you're a student first, and what you do inside school and what you do in the classroom and your extracurriculars, that builds you as a person as well. Soccer's just supplemental to all that. And so I've been very, very proud of what they've done.
Yeah, there's a lot of good kids. I know I see the Fletcher's name all the time.
Laney Fletcher.
And of course Sherry, her grandmother, you know, Gator and I talked with her forever, and I just some of the names, you know, you don't know, but Don Hancock's granddaughter, Drew Head. I don't know all their names, but I do know who the older people are.
She's outstanding goalkeeper.
Oh, right? She's phenomenal goalkeeper. Yeah, I would dare say we've got the best goalkeeper in the region. She's just
she's built for it. She's tall, long arm, you know. And also the Janinas, I've heard that name ever since we were here. Years ago. They're trying not. I don't want to leave anybody out, but they're just the ones we remember.
Yeah, they all contribute, and that's I know talking about Laney. Laney's one that's one of our 2 juniors. We have her and Alyssa Traylor, and Laney has really had a huge season. She was my first year that I was the middle school coach. I had her as an 8th grader. And I thought she was special then, and she's really turned it on now. I know she was our leading goal scorer coming into this year. She made all-region for the first time in her high school career this year. And so that's a big deal, and I'm looking for her to have a huge senior year next year.
Well, we hope all of them do. You're doing a great job with them. I tell you what, keep them going. And who's helping you now?
Ashley, I say Holt, it's Smith now. She got married, so
you ran her off, didn't you?
Yeah, right. But she's a huge help, and yeah, I definitely couldn't do it without her. She's one that she primarily takes over with the JV, and what she does with those girls are just great. It's nice whenever you have a coach, whenever they come to you for varsity, you don't have to go over some basics. You don't have to, why are you doing this? Why? And she takes care of it. She's got a great relationship with the girls, and she's been great through the entire season. And so that's another thing. I've been fortunate to have her, and we were talking about it last night, and it's interesting. I think that me and her are probably the youngest coaching staff that's in this region. And so it's pretty cool that for me and her to be a staff 2 years in, to have already accomplished this, that's something for us to build on and move forward. So I'm definitely excited to have her back next year as well.
Yeah, that's something that the other coaches, I know from experience when Gator and I were coaching, that you beat somebody a couple times and they're thinking, well, we're going to go over there and get those young whippersnappers. Here you come in and make some people mad already. That's good. That's a good thing.
That's all right. Yeah, it's fun. I had an official ask me last night before the game if I was too young to be in that situation already. And so it's nice. But like I say, a lot of that goes to the girls more so than it does me, because whenever soccer is one of those interesting sports that we don't have timeouts, we don't have anything like that, and so once the game's going, it's more so them than me. It's more game prep and practice than anything, and so they've done a great job this year.
Well, Eric, of your 8 seniors that you're going to be losing, will any of them go on and further their athletic careers? Any of the colleges showing interest in them? I know they're going to go on and be students, but will they be furthering their athletic?
Yeah, I know we've got a couple that could definitely go play some places. I know Mackenzie Smiley has expressed a lot of interest, and I'm 100% confident that she'll be picked up. I'm not exactly sure off the top of my head what schools have interest in her. But I know that she's looked at some, she's talked to some coaches, and she'll be great for whatever program she goes to. Just her work ethic and the way that she is on and off the field will be a huge asset to any college. And I know a lot of that senior group could. I'm not sure that a lot of them want to further their athletic career into college, but they definitely have the ability. They'll be a standout on an intramural team. I know that if they don't want to go play collegiately, if they play some intramurals, they'll definitely be the stud on that team.
Can you recall all 8 seniors without?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, give them a little. I know their mom and dads may be listening, and family members. So
our 8, we had Mackenzie Smiley, Taylor Freeman, Matea Butts, Meriden Janina. Let's see if you put me on the spot here.
There we go.
Drew Thomas. McKenna Jackson, Kara Morris, Sarah Grace Carnahan. There we go. There's our 8.
8
good deal.
It's early in the morning. The coffee hadn't quite kicked in yet after that late night.
He passed the quiz.
Yeah, passed the quiz, so I get my 100 for the day.
There you go.
But yeah, every single one of those are, like I said, great kids, great athletes, and they're definitely going to miss them next year.
And I know normally after the season, during the wintertime, don't they have indoor soccer, AAU, and
yeah, we'll have that's something I wanted to do last year, and ended up just had a couple things that came up. I had a little boy during the off season, so it makes it hard to get in and do those kind of things. But yeah, they've got indoor teams that play a lot of times over in Paducah. I know Mayfield will have some here and there, and that's something I hope to get together this year to get them playing, and that's a fun thing to do. Indoor is almost it's like, I guess, hockey on feet. That's the best way to describe it.
Right.
You got the boards around. It's a lot faster. You change on the fly. But, yeah, it's a ton of fun. You guys come out there and play. We can get a adult team together.
Well.
No?
What'd Chick call it?
I don't know. Kickball.
Kickball?
No, I would be up against – I'd be playing dodgeball if I was there. I wouldn't be running up there. I'd be the one on the end of the goal.
I'd be running from the ball.
Hey, that's all right.
Well, Coach, just a great season. And, you mentioned that coming up this spring, you get to work with the middle schoolers. And tell us how important that feeder system is.
Oh, it's extremely important. I don't think that we would have the success that we've had the past 2 years without middle school. And it's been nice. The middle school season last year, for the first time, we were district runners-up in our third year as a program. And in that district, it shaped up a little bit differently than high school is. We're in a district with Graves County, Marshall County, Murray, kind of that Region 1. Yeah, we're with some of the bigger soccer schools that are over in the West. And so really nice that we were able to come out and be district runners-up and make it to the region tournament for middle school. And so that's something that we'll look to build off of, and it's extremely important because in this area, there's not as much opportunity for soccer as there are in places like Paducah or Owensboro. And so it's nice to have that feeder system, and the girls get familiar with me, I get familiar with them, and it's been great. I'm excited for this. I guess will be my fourth season with the middle school team, so it's pretty awesome.
And who was it that coached the middle school this year? You?
It was me.
Really?
I do the middle school. They were I don't think they were officially school affiliated the year before I was hired at the high school. And once they got there, all the paperwork and checked all the boxes to be affiliated with the school, I've been the coach that they've had there for the past 3 seasons. So it's been fun. The middle school has definitely got a special place for me, since that was, I guess, my first official head coaching job.
Right.
And it's good. It's a great program, and definitely encourage anyone that's in middle school who's never touched a soccer ball, doesn't really know what soccer is. We'd love to have them out and show them what kind of a game it is.
Well, it sounds like to me you got your feet busy.
Definitely.
And I'm assuming you got youth fall leagues.
Right.
And they're winding down if they've not ended yet. Is it still going on?
Yeah, it's still going on. The club soccer, a lot of times it's the younger kids that play, kind of your middle school age kids that play club in the fall. And then in the spring, it'll be opened up for the high school kids. I know that Pumas out in Paducah, they'll have tryouts coming up pretty soon for spring stuff for the high school kids. And then you've got clubs in Clarksville and Owensboro, Evansville, those areas. And so, yeah, it's never ending. It's like any sport. If you want to play, there's a team that will pick you up and we'll be happy to have you.
Well, I got to ask you one more question.
All right.
How disappointing is it that the USA's men's soccer team didn't make the World Cup this year?
I don't think I have come closer to angry tears ever in my life. That was really, really disappointing.
I watched it on SportsCenter, and they really
it's bad.
It's bad for our country.
Yeah, it's bad, and a lot of that starts at the youth level, and I know they're having some discussions about that, the whole kind of pay-to-play thing that has become kind of the culture of soccer. Soccer a lot is starting to shift to kind of being an elitist sport, which it doesn't need to be. If you look at any other country in the world, it's any kid can play, and that's how it needs to be. I think that they're missing a lot of talent by doing the pay-to-play, because it can get expensive at times. But, yeah, it was really, really disappointing. I've got to pick up a new team now for next summer. I'm not sure who I'll go for. I think Iceland made it, so I'll pull for an obscure team in Iceland. That'll be the go-to.
Well, I know it was a huge upset, and I believe the coach resigned, didn't he, here in the...
He's resigned. I know there's some talk of the president of U.S. Soccer. He's going to stick it out. We're actually looking at a World Cup bid for, I think it's 2026 or 2028. I can't remember the exact year off the top of my head, but he wants to stay in it for that. And a matter of fact, if we get that, Nashville may be a host city for the World Cup.
That'd be nice.
Which would be pretty awesome.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be odd next summer not seeing.
But the women are alive.
Oh, but the women are alive
right.
and thriving. They actually won last night. They beat South Korea, and so yeah, the women are kind of the highlight right now. They've done some good things. They actually won the previous World Cup, so they've won 3 total.
Right.
And they're a phenomenal program, and their coach Jill Ellis is great. She's done a good job with them, and yeah, so at least we have the women to look forward to in some competition coming up.
Well, that's great. Eric, we appreciate you coming in this morning. Ty, D, you got any more?
No, I believe we've hit you hard enough, buddy.
All right, I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys being easy. on me.
Thank you. Good job.
We want to let the listeners know to tune in during basketball season, and they'll get to hear you basically every ball game.
Yeah, for sure. We'll be happy to bring it to them. I'm
Bob
excited.
Hayes and Eric Jacobs at the mic.
That's
and
right.
We're about a month away.
Just a month away.
So, yeah, you blink and it'll be here. So it's about that time. But, yeah, I appreciate you guys having me. It's been awesome. It's been a blast.
Well,
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back. You're listening to Tiger Sports Talk on 103.3
Thank you. Good
FM,
job,
The
bud.
Tiger.
Thanks.
Good
I
year.
appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Trice Hughes in Princeton would like to give a big shout out to one of our own, Jeff McDowell. Jeff has given Trice Hughes 34 years as one of our top service technicians, and General Motors thinks so also, as they selected Jeff in the top 20 service technicians out of over 7,000 in the Southeast region. We are so proud of you, Jeff. The extra time and dedication it takes to achieve this honor speaks volumes about him. Trice Hughes Incorporated offers top-notch service on all your GM and Chrysler vehicles by certified technicians Monday through Friday, 6:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Call 270-365-5522 for your appointment today. Trice Hughes Incorporated, Highway 91 North in Princeton.
The 2018s are here. All 2017s have to go. Every brand we carry, every Chevrolet, GMC, Buick, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram truck has been marked down. 0% financing for 72 months or up to $10,000 off some models. Come by Trice Hughes or call 270-365-5522. You can also shop at tricehughes.com. Why haven't you given Trice a try? It's easy. Call today, 270-365-5522, or stop by for a great deal today. Give Trice a try.
It's that time of year again. Soon leaves will be falling. Football and deer season is right around the corner. When those little critters get stirring around, sometimes our vehicles get in their way. When that happens, Trice Hughes Incorporated hopes you remember our body shop to get you back on the road. We offer free estimates, 3-stage paint process that is guaranteed as long as you own your vehicle, and certified technicians that together offer 120 years of combined experience. We keep rental vehicles readily available, so even if your car is out of commission, you don't have to be. Trice Hughes Incorporated, Highway 91 North in Princeton. New car buyers, listen up. We need to move our new car and truck inventory fast, and we need your trade. At Trice Hughes Incorporated, we know the dollar is tight, but there's never been a better time to buy a new vehicle. With fantastic rebates, low rates, awesome trade allowance, and 7 American car lines to choose from, Trice Hughes Incorporated is sure to fit you with the perfect vehicle at a price that's pleasing. And as always, if we don't have what you want on our lot, we'll find it for you. Don't go out of town for a good deal. Stay in town for a great deal. Trice Hughes Incorporated, where your trade is worth more.
Back here at Tiger Sports Talk, Gator and DT at 103.3 FM, The Tiger. D, you got a few shout-outs you want to
Yes,
give.
I do. I was at the Black Patch Wednesday night having my meal, and Scotty Seibert walked in and talked to him for a minute, and he told me he and his dad both listened to our show, and I told him I'm sorry for you, but appreciate it, and I think he really enjoys listening out there, and old Scotty and them do a good job out there. Anybody needs cars or something worked on, you need to go out and see Scotty and little Scotty. And, of course, little Scotty's bigger than other Scotty. And the other one that he told me I ought to give a shout-out to is one that I'm sure is not listening, but he said it would probably make his day, and that's old Griff.
Mike Griffin.
Old Griff, he would be proud, but I know he's not up till about noon.
Especially if he stayed up and watched that baseball game
That's right.
last night.
Yeah, and your Dodgers won.
My Dodgers won.
11-1. What happened to
I
them?
don't know.
Guy had the little guy. What's his name? I don't keep up with it anymore. But he had 3 home runs. One of them was a grand slam. He had
Hernandez.
He had 7 RBIs.
Yeah. Great win, and we want to give a dedication to Coach G and my dad. Both played in the Dodgers organization.
Is that right?
Yeah, and my dad played back in the 40s, I guess, and he was at Newport News and played in their farm system, the Brooklyn Dodgers back then. But I was showing Ty this morning a team picture that he was in.
Coach G did. I didn't know about your dad.
And he didn't play very long, but he about four years, I believe, in the farm system. But he was a big Dodger fan, and
Yeah,
I've
he
been a
was.
big Dodger fan ever since. And, of course, Coach G the same way.
Yep.
There's not too many Dodger fans in Princeton, I don't think.
Randy Bruce is a big Dodger fan, of course. He
Randy
married
Bruce,
Jeannie.
that's
Yeah, that's
right.
true.
And I used to tell a
Wonder-
story.
oh,
About,
go ahead.
Well, I used to tell a story about Coach G and Randy. They'd be out throwing baseball, and Coach G'd say, "Hold that glove up, son."
That's right. I'll hit it. I wonder if that organization was what made both of them pretty ornery.
Ooh, I don't know. They were two of a kind.
You're
I
right.
can promise you that. But it was a great win for the Dodgers. They're in the World Series, and I wouldn't mind seeing the Yankees win tonight against the
Take us back to the
Astros.
70s,
Back
right?
in
Yeah.
the time when they used to play
Yes.
quite a bit together, and Dodgers Yankees would be big. Of course, the Dodgers was in Brooklyn.
Oh,
and moved to the West Coast.
Made it a little bit more heated, I think. But I'm like you. I'd love to see those old, those 2 years back in the late 77, 78.
Yeah,
They played
Reggie
each other.
Jackson
Yes.
played, and a lot of big
Thurman
time.
Munson and Chris
You know,
Chambliss and all those guys.
I couldn't
The
believe
Yankees.
it's been 29 years since the Los Angeles Dodgers have been in the World Series.
88. That's
Went pretty
Gibby's-
quick,
The,
didn't
the, the Oakland A's and the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Man, tell you what, this is the time of the year though. Pro basketball started,
Yep.
and NBA, of course, and hockey has started. I know the Nashville Predators have already played a couple of games so far, and of course football. We're right in the middle of the football season, and what a game between the Kansas City Chiefs and
It
Oakland
was a great
Raiders.
game. Yes, it sure was.
You had to tune in at the end.
It was unreal. The last 3 or 4 plays, I didn't think they were going to get finished.
There was a bunch of flags.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Against the defense, so the offense got to run another one, and finally they
I
scored.
couldn't hang with it. But
I mean, there's
And
so
you know
much
the boy
pushing
almost
and-
missed the extra point.
Oh, I know.
It was
Just
close.
Snuck inside that right upright, and they could call holding or they were tugging either way. They called one offensive pass interference, then defensive holding, and finally it ended on Derek Carr
Yep.
on a great pass to Crabtree there in the end zone and kicked the extra point for 31-30. win.
I don't like to talk too bad about people, but I'm going to tell you what. I don't like Tony Romo as an announcer. All he wants to be is
I miss Phil Simms.
he, all he wants to do is tell them what they should be doing, and if he'd have done it, he wouldn't have been up there talking.
No.
I like that logic.
Yeah, he had everything planned out. And I've always said in pro football, you really don't have to sit down and watch the whole game. Turn it on the last 2 minutes. It seems like everything happens in the last 2 minutes of the game.
Did you watch the first part of it when they showed the punt, pass, and kick?
No, I didn't see that.
You didn't
part.
see that?
No, I was flipping back and forth. And missed
Andy
that.
Reid was 13 years old. They showed him. He had to borrow a football jersey from the Rams because all the little kid, he was as bigger then than he is now.
Oh, my goodness.
I swear, it was unreal. You couldn't even see the line of kids behind him because he was that big. Those people went crazy. They showed that thing. He was a monster. Wow. I couldn't believe it. 13 years old. But anyway, I thought y'all might have seen that part of it, but it was ready. But there was a great ball game to watch. I like Kansas City. Of course, that was a big rival back in the day. Biletnikoff. And,
Oh, yeah.
all those guys.
Yeah.
That was
Very heated rival. Yeah. And they did show, I did see Derek Carr, I guess, when he was in Little League or something, and they were playing at halftime of a pro game, and the mascot just mauled him.
I saw that too,
Yeah.
and I didn't know what it
believe
was.
It,
I didn't.
it was Derek Carr.
That's
I
what it
believe.
was.
They
Yeah.
were showing a clip, back when he played in youth league, I guess, and they were scrimmaging at halftime of a professional
Didn't see it.
game, and one of the mascots just
Came out
mauled him.
and mauled him.
Yeah, sure did.
They were wearing the Oakland Raiders line out. I know that. And they were all pro last year, weren't they? They said 2 or 3 of them were, and now they're making all that money, and they weren't doing a whole lot. But
And there was an exciting college game on last night. Memphis
Yes.
came from
Yeah.
behind.
did they win that game? I quit watching
and
it.
beat Houston, and
I
they were
can't believe
behind
it.
the whole ball game. And I think it wound up, I don't know, 34
You
to
looked it up here, yeah.
yeah, 34 to
Now, who's that
31.
coach? Fuente? What is it?
No, Fuentes left
He's
and went to
gone?
Virginia Tech.
Oh,
he used to
okay.
be, he was a quarterback at Murray
Yeah, at
State.
Murray.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he's at Virginia Tech now. But let's talk a little bit about Elijah Sindelar. I'm telling you, the young man has done an outstanding job, Coach. And, I watched the game last weekend against Wisconsin, and they almost came, they gave them all they wanted and had an opportunity to tie the game late. And, of course, they played the number 7 or 8 ranked team in the nation in Wisconsin, and just a great ball game.
Yeah, the weather wasn't much either, was it?
No, it was raining, quite a bit. But Elijah performed well. He played the entire game except for one series, I believe.
One series they brought the other guy in.
He's done well. He's proved himself. I mean, of course, and people wondered, why he wasn't earlier and this and that and the other. Of course, the coach might have had a little something to do with it. But, you're not ready that first year and sometimes the second year. And he's proved now he's ready to go. He's a big-time guy. He's strong, tall, got a good arm. There's a good chance somebody will take a chance on him to the next level.
I believe so. He's got a bright future ahead of him. And, of course, in Coach Brom's system, he's
Yes,
perfect in his system.
Coach Brom does an excellent job with quarterbacks, and he's got his brother coaching the quarterbacks. And Elijah told me that's been one of the best things that has happened to him, having those two guys being around him. And Coach Brom's offense is just unreal, and the way they play fast. And I'm sure they're missing that at Western this year.
Yes,
Right.
I know they are. Everybody in Bowling Green is missing.
Who does Purdue play this week? Do you know?
We'll find out.
I didn't.
Here in just a second.
I know. I think they have a home game, if I'm not mistaken, but I can't remember. There's so many games going on.
I know it.
I do know Western's playing tonight, and last week they had their homecoming game, and D. Kane got to play quite a bit.
Western playing at home tonight?
No, they're playing on the road at Old Dominion.
Purdue has Rutgers, looks like.
Yeah, Purdue plays Rutgers, so that's
home?
at home, I believe.
Let's see. Yes.
I believe, yeah. It's
No, I'm sorry. It's at Rutgers.
Oh, it is at
It is
Rutgers. Okay.
There's the-
And it'll probably be on the Big Ten Network, so, all the Big Ten games, SEC games
Played
are
11 o'clock our time.
11 o'clock. So tune in and watch Mr. Sindelar tomorrow. D. Kane plays tonight. Of course, we don't have a game, and it's on TV. I think it starts at 5 o'clock at Old Dominion.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was on
Yeah,
TV.
it's on TV. I believe it's on the CBS network, 221 on DirecTV. And D got to play. Of course, he plays on all the special teams. And Dennis Kirk was telling me that they went down last weekend and watched the game. He took his entire family and said D got to play quite a bit of defense. So
5 o'clock on the CBS Sports Network.
yeah, CBS Sports Network. So you can tune in and watch D this afternoon and tonight. Coach Barnes, tell us about your open date week.
How fun is it?
It's, we had some
Nobody
kids-
offsides today, are they?
Nobody. We had some kids. Will Bashir was banged up with a high ankle sprain, which we held him last week, and he got another week this week off of it. So that's going to be helpful getting him back. Ben Hope with his back, he's still gimping around a little bit, but he's a lot better than he was. So it helped getting him out. We watched film on Monday and practiced Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Really had 3 good practices this week. We didn't go full live contact, but we got enough kids where we can pretty much had ones on one, so that we were able to defensively. Mayfield's a lot like us on offense, so we were able to get our defense a pretty good look, I think, and I think that'll help us.
Are you going to go watch Mayfield tonight?
Well,
They play just right down the road here at Webster
yeah,
County.
when you can just hit that button and get that film.
Yes.
You don't have to go anywhere. It makes you a little bit lazy. So I
I
think
guess you
I'll
could
buy
pull up last year's film.
Yeah, we've already done that.
Yeah.
Well, no offense to anybody, but you really don't want to drive to Webster either. Not just for the road, but probably for the game.
And I'm sure Mayfield probably doesn't
Oh.
want to drive to Webster County as well. It should be the makings of a great game, and it's a good game to end your regular season with and prepare you for the playoffs. And of course, I know your main emphasis is keeping everybody healthy, hoping everybody comes out healthy.
And it'll be our senior night that night, so we got a good group of senior guys that we'll recognize before the game, and it's always an emotional time with those guys that have been around us a long time, and So we're looking forward to that. But, main thing, everybody says, why you play Mayfield? And I said, well, it used to be a big game for us at the Caldwell County. Mayfield Caldwell was a big game, and I just think you play good people, you're going to get better, and it'll show us what we need to work on it going into the playoffs. And our goal is to go as far as we can in the playoffs.
I heard you say a while ago, Will Bashir was better. I had heard it possibly was broken foot, but it's not.
It's not broken.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, he ran pretty good on it. We didn't practice him yesterday, but he ran was a sprinting on the field.
Right.
And we got a really good trainer. Our trainer does an excellent job with our guys, and he's on top of stuff.
I was going to say, I see him about every day out there at the fitness center.
He's good.
Yeah.
We're very fortunate.
Boy,
to
that
have
means
him.
a lot.
Right.
Except back in the day when you played, who was your trainer?
Earl Stevens.
There you go.
Or Coach Sykes.
Yeah, and what they did, they patted you on the back and said, "You're all right, get
And
back
you
in
didn't
there."
want Coach G touching you.
No.
Our trainer when I first came over here was Raymond Harris.
Raymond Harris, that's right. Yeah, he taped up his Jerome.
Raymond, if you're listening over here at Trice,
Yeah.
he taped Jerome's ankle.
Taped Jerome's ankle one game before the game. He couldn't even get to the line of scrimmage. Gator said, "Who taped your ankle?" He said, "Raymond."
Couldn't even get his shoe on.
No.
Lord. Man,
Those are some good days.
Oh,
there,
wasn't
buddy.
that good day? And now you got, of course, it's so nice now to have access for an athletic trainer to be around. But I can remember when we first got one that Gerald Fuqua was one of the worst. Every time he saw that trainer coming down.
That was Ken Parker, wasn't it?
Ken, and Kevin Mosier.
Yeah.
I believe Kevin might have been my first one. And, we've had several. Of course, Trover Clinic's been very gracious in providing those for us here in the Caldwell County school system. And they used to have to cover more schools. You just got the one now, right? Does he cover any other schools?
He just got us.
I thought he did.
And, and that's
Especially smaller schools, Critton and Line, they got their own training.
for us to have what we got training wise is remarkable, because you go to a lot of schools don't even have one.
No.
Right.
And it does not cost our school system one dime to get those. It's provided, and he's at every practice. He's at every game and every practice.
Does he go other sports too?
Yeah, he'll go. He goes to all sports.
Oh, that's great.
Practice wise, though, he pretty much stays at the football practice.
Yeah, I see him down there. When I'm watching him, he's always there for the whole time.
Well, there was some other big news this week. Our school board signed a new contract with Pepsi Cola, and I also read in the article that you might be getting a new scoreboard.
Yeah, that's what Wayne. I didn't know nothing about it. Wayne said he saw it in the paper. That'd be good.
So
Yeah. Is this the one that's been up here since Trice gave it to us, or is this a new
no,
one?
this is a newer one. I think I got that one back.
I believe you're
when
right.
I was the AD.
Yeah, right.
May have been Hatchell's first or second year. We went down to Paducah and was able to purchase that. And I remember Randy Jordan putting it up, out there. And, I was talking to Bruce Farmer last night at the Men's Golf League banquet, and he's, he acted like he didn't really think that scoreboard we got was in too bad of a shape, but they might be giving us an updated version, kind of like maybe what Murray State's got a video board. Maybe that's what you're looking at.
I don't know. They put Will Brown.
I guess you'll be
up.
finding
They
out.
put Willie up.
Will
on
Brown should know. He just drove by and gave us a howdy doody wave.
He's got the field looking great.
He
Willie
does.
Brown, he got that
It's
field looking
fantastic.
great.
I mean, it's a picture when you're up there in that boot, in that
It is
box, and that
nice.
sun setting out, and looking at that. Oh man, I'm telling you, it's a nice setting for football.
It's just as nice when I was down on the track. Coach Barrett couldn't believe how nice it was. He really couldn't. He was ready. He brought his whole family and sat over there.
Yeah.
And the Butler's good too. I mean, it will.
Good thing his family sat in those visitor bleachers because it looked like Fort Campbell didn't bring too many folks with them, did they?
They didn't bring
They don't bring very many. Most of the time they're deployed anyway.
Right.
They don't have anybody there to bring. But they didn't bring too many players. No offense.
I thought they had one, number 72, a defensive lineman. I think that kid's name was Whitehead, and I remember a Whitehead
Yeah, I do too.
years ago that was a tight end. I was just wondering if he was
Receiver, that's right.
any key. And to him, but he was one heck of a blocker. I remember he caved our whole side of the line in. He was a good tight end. I mean, and receiver too. That was back in the early '90s, back probably when Ryan Jaggers and them were playing. And good
Marshall
player.
Patterson probably still coaching.
Yeah.
Wasn't he? No, him or Rocky. Rocky, remember Rocky?
Yeah, Rocky Cobb. Yeah, and both of them are both deceased now, and they were longtime coaches over there at Fort Campbell. And of course, Eddie Hawkins. Eddie coached at Fort Campbell for years, and I believe he's retired now. And he always did a great job with Fort Campbell. And I know he probably hates to see the program in the shape it's in now, because all those years I can remember when they were really tough. Yeah, really good football teams over there.
All I remember about Fort Campbell's when we went over and played them in that rainstorm that one night. Doc Rickard and I went out there to get the phone set up. Doc, we didn't have any raincoats.
He had a poncho on.
He put a trash bag over his head. And went down there, and I looked over there, and he was grabbing and tugging, and that rain was coming down, the wind was blowing. He pulled it off. He said, "About smothered me." I said, yeah, we laughed. Me and him got over there and got soaking wet and laughed for 2 hours about
Doc,
that.
he was a good one. Our cord carrier.
Yes, sir.
He was the
He
best.
followed you step for step.
Oh, man. Would you slow down?
That's what he told you.
We loved old Doc, I tell you. Good times back in. Coach, you got anything you'd like to talk about or that's going on? I know we want to send a congratulations out to our volleyball team. They
champs last night. Yeah.
They were district champs, and they'll be entering into regional play.
I said fifth, it's seventh.
Seventh district. It's hard to get off that fifth district.
It is.
Yeah.
But yeah, congratulations to them, and they'll start region play next week at Trice County.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Daniel was telling us about that hole over there. He didn't really like going in that dungeon down in that bottom. It is different.
Yeah, it is.
And I think they played a match over there, just
right toward the end of the
season. So they can kind of get the feel of it, and wish them luck. And I think they're peaking kind of like our girls soccer team right at the right time. Of course, they were supposed to, expected to win this district, but we'll see. I mean, they might make a good little run.
It was a big time gym back when I was a kid. You go over there and you walk in the gym, and all of a sudden you look down, and there's a floor way down at the bottom. It was a.
And I'm assuming the top teams in if Henderson is going to have to be one of them.
Yeah, and I don't know.
Christian County and Hoptown.
Yeah, and I don't know how it's all. I don't have a bracket or anything.
I doubt if they've even dropped. They probably draw today. I would think.
Sometime, yeah. So we'll have that information.
So Trig's not that far.
No.
We can.
Everybody to head on out there and support those, and it's fun, man. It is fun to watch.
Will you be?
We're looking at that now, and I'm definitely going to try to have that and see if we can't work that out. Yeah. So Sue, and if you're out there just kind of listening, Sue Stone.
Sue Stone.
We
and
definitely
Johnny.
Try. Yeah, and they helped. We did the Christian County game from out here. So love to try to bring regional action to everybody coming up next week. So we'll stay tuned for that.
And I know today the baseball team's having a big fundraiser. They're selling chickens and ribs and doing. I know Ben had his cooker out last night, and he's cooking ribs.
And I know the tennis team tomorrow is having their cornhole down at Butler.
And I think Albert Bennett's doing the chickens for them down at Fredonia.
So where are they? Where can you get your meal?
Well,
you pre-order,
they've been pre-ordered, I believe.
Okay.
Do you know anything, Coach?
Brady told me everything was pre-ordered.
Okay,
everything's pre-ordered.
Man, I didn't even.
I guess they could contact Bradley.
Yeah,
I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah,
I didn't either. I should have.
I didn't know it until yesterday.
Okay.
So,
I saw Ben cooking or had it cooked, and I thought he was having the team at his house.
No,
I didn't know
was cooking for the baseball team, and
well, that's good stuff, and it's fundraising time, and these teams need these extra funds to get their.
Well, I mean, if you're going to eat lunch one day, it might as well be there.
That's right.
Give them the money.
Yeah.
And I think there's still time to sign up for the cornhole tournament tomorrow. I know.
That's right. Kim Farmer's having
for the tennis team.
Down
at Butler, and the concession stand at Butler will be open as well.
And of course, we got Little League football tonight out here at Tiger Stadium.
Yes,
and
indeed. 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. So if you're not doing anything, go out and support those young Tigers. And both Caldwell teams are playing each
It's
other.
Caldwell White and Caldwell Gold is what is
I
on.
believe the Gold, I was reading in the paper, the Gold and Junior's boys scored both touchdowns last week against Union County. Yeah.
I tell you what, I saw Noah come out of the locker room last week, and he's a big boy.
He's gonna be a player.
He's going to be a hoss now.
Yeah.
Coach, how many seniors are we losing this season?
There's 10 of them.
10 seniors. Good quality players.
Yeah.
That's a good class.
Yeah, it is a good class.
Good men.
Yeah.
Of course, you got one in it.
I got one in there, but I mean, those boys, just I've been with them, since the junior pro days. Mac didn't start playing till he was in 6th grade. It was his first year. Of course, those guys started as soon as they could, most of those young men. But it's a good group of fellas. It really is.
Another thing going on tomorrow, tomorrow, is the one-man scramble at the country club. Anybody that is interested in playing golf, it's kind of a different deal. It's your own scramble. You get 2 extra shots on every hole. And I think it's open to anybody, even in town, that wants to play.
They need to contact David
Forster, yeah.
Right. I
Contact
believe
him.
last night they said at the banquet they've had just maybe 10 teams.
Is that right?
Yeah. That's what Fred Folks was telling me last night.
Well,
so.
It's getting, of course, the end of the year and a little
But
chilly.
it's going to be a beautiful weekend.
There's different things.
Until Sunday.
Until Sunday, but yeah.
Until
weather's gonna be
Sunday.
beautiful tomorrow.
Right. And I think we're heading out of town. We're going to go up and visit my daughter up in northern Kentucky and see my grandson play his final soccer match on Saturday. And my granddaughter, Addie, she's a cheerleader. And they have a Little League football game on Sunday at 11 o'clock. So that's where we're going to be spending our weekend.
Might be raining on you Sunday.
Could be. Hopefully not up there. We got a big weekend of college football. Kentucky going to Mississippi State. That's a big game for them. And of course, that was one of the big wins last year at home was against Mississippi State, and it's going to be a great challenge. And if they can come away with a win there, puts them in pretty good shape in their side of the SEC. I know
that one's at 3 o'clock our time.
3 o'clock Princeton time, and I saw the point spread. I don't really agree with 10.5 points. I saw that where they got Mississippi State as a big favorite, but I think Kentucky can prove them wrong.
Uh-oh. Watch it, David. He'll be broke next Saturday.
No.
Did you have that Clemson-Syracuse game last weekend?
No, I didn't. I watched the very end of it. We got to see the very end of it, and Syracuse hung on, didn't they?
Middle Tennessee went to Syracuse and beat Syracuse 3 weeks ago.
That's right. I saw that. I remember seeing that.
Yep.
And Middle Tennessee plays tonight.
Yeah.
They play do they play at Murfreesboro? I
don't
believe.
know
They play Marshall.
Yeah.
I think at maybe 7
I believe
o'clock.
it's at Marshall.
And, of course, Tony Franklin,
Maybe it's-
a local product here, is the offensive coordinator for Middle Tennessee. And that's a big game,
Yeah.
Marshall and Middle. So
He got a lot of guys hurt.
Yeah, I talked to Bobby. I wondered why they weren't scoring any points. And, of course, his quarterback's been out.
always
Yeah,
has.
Yeah, he
I didn't
hadn't
know
played
that.
all. Now I think he might be back. I don't know.
And it's on Fox Sports, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah,
I believe-
it might be. It just doesn't say whether it's televised. Let me see if it says.
But they ended up winning last week.
Yes.
I can't remember who they played, but they or Florida Atlantic or somebody maybe.
Yeah, because they got beat by the other Florida.
Yes.
They beat on the week before.
One of them. Yeah, I don't know which one.
It says there, Gator, where it's televised. But
Well, David, we've had a good year so far. I don't want to black catch you, but you surprised. Well, not you, but our team has surprised a lot of people this year, including myself. Early, I know we played Christian County real well early, but still, I had my doubts. But with the schedule you had, to whether we were going to have wins or losses, I knew we were going to play hard and be effective. But I tell you what,
I think it's one of the most competitive schedules
it sure
we've
is.
had in
Oh yeah, by far,
years.
by far.
And, we've beat some really quality opponents, bigger schools. You're talking Henderson County and Graves County and Christian County just had a battle last Friday night. It went in overtime, I believe, and they had some little extracurricular after the game too, I believe.
Yeah. Well, we got a good group of kids. They work hard. They believe in what we're trying to do, and they come to practice and they get better each day. They watch film, and they do those little things that you got to do to win football games, and there's no quit in them. And
Right.
it's just it's been a great year for the coach, and when you got kids like that, it makes it fun to go to work.
Well, they don't. I'm around some of them every now and then, and they don't harp on it. They don't say, "Well, we've only lost one game." Blah blah blah. All they're thinking about is the next game, and that's good. That's a good thing.
And next week's what you've been working for.
That's right.
Coach Duffy at Henderson, he called those the money games, and those ones that count. You either win or you go home. So, but that's what it's about.
That's right. And playing the quality of opponent that we play next week in Mayfield, it's just going to make us better. And, Mayfield has a way to exploiting your weaknesses. And
they can.
Yeah, they can. And, of course, that they've been for years and years. I mean, it's just a different breed over there. It's bred into them at a very early age, and, they just eat and live football.
And play it.
Yeah.
They
and
do
play
a good
it.
job.
Yeah.
And they'll bring a good crowd.
They'll bring a great crowd. Should be, and I think it's the TV game of the week.
It is.
It's the TV game of the week here.
But
So
tune into to our radio station. It's
Yeah.
got better coverage.
That's exactly
Yeah,
right.
of course. We encourage you. Bob and Dennis will.
Well, I can't get it
will have to
anyway. I
call
got
and-
direct TV. I couldn't get it anyway.
And we encourage them. We'll be live streaming it as well.
Right.
So had a lot of folks last week on fall break down in Florida having a good time, and they were appreciative that they could just sit back and watch the game. So
yeah, and your brother mentioned last week on this show that he watches our show
Yeah.
as well as the ball games live stream at work.
Yeah.
So
I'll be darned. I
yeah,
didn't know that.
he and a
You
group
shouldn't
of
have said that now. His boss might be
well, I think there were several of the workers that was watching last Friday morning
Yeah.
when we were
when
doing
Mark
it.
was on.
Yeah, when Mark
How you
was
doing,
on.
Mark? Hope you're having a good day down
Archie
there.
will be home for good next week after that.
And
They'll fire him and send him home.
He told me he wasn't much of a talker. I thought he did an outstanding
He did a
job.
great job.
He did a great job.
He
And-
took after your mama.
It is.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, I believe that about wraps us up. for
We've
this
shot
week.
the bull for an hour. haven't
We have. We've messed around here for an hour, and once again, we want to thank Eric Jacobs for coming in this morning, and
Congratulations
our
to our ladies.
congratulations to the girls soccer team, and of course,
Thank
we're
all of our listeners, all the
thank
shout outs.
all of our listeners and viewers, and once again, you can tune in again next Friday morning at 8 a.m. for Tiger Sports Talk with Gator and DT.
Trice Hughes in Princeton would like to give a big shout out to one of our own, Jeff McDowell. Jeff has given Trice Hughes 34 years as one of our top service technicians, and General Motors thinks so also, as they selected Jeff in